Today we have two relationship stories from Reddit. In our first story, we have a man who wants to sit back and watch the life of his cheating ex-girlfriend fall apart. The second story is about another fellow who's had just about enough of his girlfriend letting another man flirt with her, so he gives her an ultimatum. To find out how these stories end, get yourself a coffee and grab a bowl of popcorn so we can get into it.
I know that when a relationship ends, the healthy thing to do is to not to care at all, but it's only been 3 weeks. For context, my ex-girlfriend suffered from severe depression after being stuck in the same position at work for 6 years. She didn't get a single promotion. At this time, we'd been together for 4 years and I'd already tripled my salary across multiple promotions. I know that hurt her, so we decided that if she wanted to get a new position somewhere else so she can start over, I'd be willing to foot the bill and move us to anywhere in the world so she can achieve her dreams. And we did just that. We were together for about 6 years at this point. We moved to the middle of the country so she could pursue her career in agriculture. She had to start at an extremely low entry level, at around $16.50 an hour. This wasn't an issue though, because I paid all the bills and was quite comfortable doing so. Soon enough, she started having an affair with a coworker. I only found out about it in June, but it started way back in December of last year. At least on an emotional level. I published a story about it on Facebook because cheaters should have their names dragged, in my opinion. When I made the post, all her friends started messaging me saying they were on my side. Yesterday, one of them reached out saying that my ex and her new partner were moving in together, but both of them combined didn't earn enough to even qualify for a 1-bedroom apartment. They ended up purchasing a small RV to live in. Mind you, they both have full-time jobs that can't be done remotely, so they aren't exactly living the YouTube RV life. They've been bouncing around from place to place, pretending to be happy since they were renting spots in really nice countryside secluded areas, even if it was just for a day or two. If you were watching their life online, everything would have seemed perfect. Unfortunately for them, they couldn't keep that up forever because it's extremely expensive. They ended up having to move to an extremely run-down campground. Apparently the water's red and needs to be boiled to even be used. Their public bathrooms are just completely run down, and it's a hot spot for the meth heads and junkies. Mind you, they also have 3 cats to look after. I know that I shouldn't care, but I can't help but smile, knowing she must be slowly realizing that she made the biggest mistake of her life. The RV she's living in is one of those that need to be pulled by a truck, and it's the new guy's truck that has to do the heavy lifting. Once this relationship fizzles, and he moves back in with his parents, she wouldn't even be able to move in on her own. It's too expensive. Maybe I'm being evil, maybe I'm being toxic, but all this makes me smile. I know that the "I messed up" message is coming, but I've already got her blocked on everywhere. And even if she does find a way to message me, she'll be left on red.
It baffles me as to why people so easily throw away a good thing. If things were as good as OP says, his partner was very short-sighted about the possibilities that were awaiting her in the future. Good relationships are hard to come by these days, so you should cherish them if you're lucky enough to find one. Let's see what the Redditors were saying in the comments.
If I were in your shoes says, nope, not wrong at all. In fact, enjoy it for a bit, then go back to not caring. She sounds like the type who would drive over a cliff because she can't be wrong or even admit to it. I don't think you have seen the end of this one yet. I have a feeling she's going to show up one day with a suitcase with nowhere else to go. That will be when a smile hits your face because you have a new woman, and that will be the moment every decision she made hits her like a boulder too. Downtown Bother says, OP, I feel you. Enjoy it. My ex reached out last week, 2 months into the breakup and 2 months into me blocking him. He said in the card that he sent to me that he'll regret this forever, and I was the best thing to ever happen to him, so he'll never do better than me. He then made it clear that he wanted us to get back together. I'm loving this ego boost because he tore me down. This gives me motivation.
OP dodged a bullet with this one. One of the most painful things you can do is to build a life with a cheater, because it'll all come crashing down one day.
I'm 24 and my girlfriend's 20, and I found out she's got a friend who's been making sexual advances towards her. First, she told me he was asking her to cheat on me with him, and I took it as a playful conversation, but the thing is, it never stopped. He kept asking her to come to his place so they could have sex over and over again. Her response to him was usually just a laugh or a gif. This is what I saw on text, at least. Nevertheless, she never really told him no or reprimanded him. Eventually, she did deny his offers and stopped replying to his messages. But they still spoke in person. This went on for 3 months, until I saw a lot of missed calls from him on her phone. I asked why she wasn't answering her phone, and she told me that she doesn't want to, and I respected that, but he kept calling, so I got curious. I found out the guy she'd been telling me is her closest friend has been talking to her sexually and requesting sexual favors, but a lot of their messages had been deleted, and there were only texts from that day. She told me that he's been asking for sex, and she's been saying no. I asked her to set some boundaries, but she declined. Her reasoning was she doesn't want to talk to him, which didn't make sense to me since she'd been talking to him all along. I decided to hear his side of the story, and he confirmed that he'd been making advances towards her and was not going to stop because he found her attractive. I asked her to stop being friends with this guy since he's not really the friend she claimed him to be, but she insisted on continuing their friendship and said he respects her enough to not do anything. I've been cheated on before, so I don't want to wait for it to happen again. I told her to choose between me and him, but she didn't give me an answer, so I took it as her choosing him and left without notice. I told the guy friend, however, that he can have her. How would you have handled this? Maybe I acted in response to my past trauma?
Honestly, I think OP made the right move. When you're with someone, if you're serious, you should value their feelings over others. By her allowing him to just go on like that is a risk to your relationship. While nothing might be happening right now, give it time. When she said that he's respectful enough to not do anything with her, that's a load of nonsense. If he respected her relationship, he wouldn't be making advances. The whole deleting messages thing makes it even more sus, and I even suspect that with all the time they spend together, something went down. Let's see what our friendly Redditors are saying in the comments.
Ad Turbulent says, "You did the right thing. She was enjoying the attention of another man, and the validation that came with it more than she appreciated the relationship she was in. If she's going to accept his flirtation without setting firm boundaries, she's too weak to be trusted." Silverwolf says, "You asked her to set reasonable boundaries, and she refused. He's operating on the belief that he will eventually wear her down, or get her into a situation in which she's able to be seduced, inadvertently on her part. Her intent may be good, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You have been patient, and you gave her an opportunity to set barriers, and she wouldn't. You finally gave her a choice, and she wouldn't commit. Why she would allow a relationship to persist under these conditions is strange. Given all the circumstances, you did the right thing. If it causes her to realize what she's lost and comes to you for a second chance, and she willingly cuts all contact with her friend, I would give her that second chance, contingent that she remained loyal after you left. Under those circumstances, the reward is worth the risk. If not, move forward with no contact with her."
While I agree with the first part of what the second Redditor had to say, the second part, not so much. OP is young and has more than enough time to find someone more appropriate. When someone acts like this, it's hard to build trust with them, and it's unlikely that they'll change anytime soon. If OP's partner loses everything, she may be more considerate and careful with her next relationship. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Coffee and Popcorn, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.